2.3, a topic of interest. Define interest and understanding related terminology. Interest is a fee paid for the use of money. There are two types of interest. Simple interest is paid strictly as a percentage of the original amount of money. Compound interest is a percentage of an original amount, as well as percentage of the new amount, including previously calculated interest. Simple interest amount I equals PRT. I is the interest amount, P is the principal amount, initial amount of money borrowed or invested. R is the annual interest rate, and always in decimal form. T is the time the money is invested or borrowed for in years. Total amount, A equals P plus I, or A equals P times 1 plus RT. A is the total amount after invested, future value. P is the principal amount, which is like your original amount, like how much you put down or how much you invested. I is the interest amount calculated using the formula I equals PRT. R should always be in decimal form, so 5% is actually 0.05. Suppose you take out a loan for $1,700. If the interest charge is 7.9% of the borrowed amount per year, how much interest will you pay each year? So we want to know how much interest I'll pay each year. So interest equals PRT. So we need to find our P, our R, and our T. So since we're trying to find interest, the interest that we're paying every year, we don't know it. Our P is how much money were put out as a loan, or how much did we put down, how much did we invest. So we took out a loan for $1,700. And then our R is our interest rate. So the rate was 7.9%. 7.9% is actually 0.079. And our T is how long are we doing this for? We're doing this for a year. So our T is 1. Let's plug it in. So we have our interest equals our principal, which is 1,700, times our rate, which is 0.079, times our time, which is 1. You plug that into your calculator exactly the way it looks, and we get 134.30. So that's how much interest you're paying every year to them. So if you borrow $1,700, you're actually paying them an extra $134 every year to pay off this loan. Develop simple interest formulas. Find the future value of a loan if $3,600 is borrowed for 3 years at a simple interest rate of 8% per year. So we want to find a future value. To find a future value, we use A equals P plus I, or A equals P times R, 1 plus RT. So we have two of them to pick from. So we either have this one to pick from, or this one to pick from. We know we're going to pick this one because we're given time. We're given 3 years. So we know to use this formula because we have time. So we're trying to find the future value. Future value stands for A. That's what we're trying to find. We don't know it. That's exactly what we're trying to find. Our P is how much we're borrowing. Our rate is 8%. So 8% is actually 0.08, and our time is for 3 years. So let's plug it in. We have our future value equals our principal, which is 3,600, times 1 plus RT, our rate is 0.08, excuse me, and we're doing that rate for 3 years. So we have 3,600 times 1 plus 0.08 times 3, we get 0.24. 1 plus 1 plus 0.24, we get 3,600 times 1.24. We multiply and we get $4,464. Calculating a monthly payment. A biotech startup borrowed $68,000 to buy lab equipment at a 9% simple interest for 1.5 years. If the loan is to be paid off equally monthly installments over the life of the loan, find the monthly payment. Alright, so first we need to figure out how much is this loan actually going to be, because I'm borrowing 68,000, but they're charging me a 9% interest for 1.5 years. So I need to know how much are they actually charging me. How much they're actually charging me, we need to find our total amount. And since we're given a time, we're going to use the same formula we did in the previous example. We're going to be using A equals P times 1 plus RT. We use this formula because we want to find the total amount we're borrowing and we're given time. So the total amount we're borrowing, we have no idea what it is. We're going to figure that out. We borrow 68,000. We're doing that at a rate of 9%. So that's 0.09. And we're taking this money out for 1.5 years. Let's plug it in. Our total amount equals our principal, which is 68,000, times 1 plus RT, our rate is 0.09. Our time, we're doing this for 1.5 years. So we have 68,000 times 1 plus 0.135. We combine like terms, so 68,000 times 1.135. We multiply and we get $77,180. But that's how much they have to pay back. So if they take out a loan for 1.5 years for 68,000 with a 9% interest rate, they're actually totaling paying off $77,180. But we need to figure out how much per month are they actually paying. So the life of the loan is 1.5 years. So 1.5 years, let's figure that in months. So we times 12 to get our months, that's 18 months. So 1.5 years is 18 months. So if we're paying $77,180 and we're paying it for 18 months, they're paying $4,287.78 back every month. Computing the principal of a loan. Philips Health and Beauty Spa is replacing one of its workstations. The interest on a loan secured the spa was $93.50. The money borrowed at 5.5% simple interest for 2 years. What was the amount they borrowed? So bring out what's given. Always bring out what we're given. And start assigning it letters. So it gave us that the interest paid was 93.50. So interest is always I. That's 93.50. I'm just going to put that as 93.5. Make it easier for myself. Then it told us the rate is 5.5%. So 5.5% is 0.055. And we're doing this for 2 years. We want to find the amount borrowed. So amount borrowed is always our P. That's what we're trying to find. So let's look to our formulas to see what we can use. So we have, let's look at the variables we do have. We have an I, we have an R, and we have a T. We need to find P. So let's look for formulas that have PIRT. So if we look, I equals PRT, those are all of our variables. So we're going to use I equals PRT to figure out our P. So our I, we actually discovered that already. It was given to us. It was 93.5. Our P, we don't know it. That's actually what we're trying to find. Our R, that was 0.055. And our T was 2. So let's multiply. We have 93.5 equals P. So 0.055 times 2, we get 0.11. So we have 93.5 equals P times 0.11. We need P by itself, so we're going to divide by 0.11. When we divide by 0.11, we get 850 equals our P. So they actually took out a loan for $850. Below are CD rates listed on February 2019 on bakerate.com. So this is for 1 year. So CD is a certificate of deposit. So Live Oak Bank, your annual rate is 2.85% if you deposit 2,500. Synchrony is 2.8% if you deposit 2,000. Sally Mae is 2.75% if you deposit 2,500. For a $2,500 investment, how much more interest would you earn if you chose Live Oak over Sally Mae? So we're talking about two things, Live Oak and Sally Mae. Let's talk about Live Oak first. Live Oak said you have a rate of 2.58% for 1 year if you deposit $2,500. So our rate is 2.85%, which we know is 0.0285. And they're saying that if we deposit $2,500, so let's find our interest. When your time is 1, you don't ever have to worry about time. When it's just 1, it doesn't change anything. So we're going to be using I equals PRT. So we have I equals our principal, which is 2,500, times our R, which is 0.0285. You can put in the T as 1, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't change anything, so we don't actually need to put anything. When we plug that in, we get 71.25. So if you go to Live Oak, you're earning $71.25 every year. Let's talk about Sally Mae. So Sally Mae said you get 2.8% if you deposit 2,000. Sorry, my bad. That was synchrony. Sally Mae. You get 2.75% back if you deposit $2,500. So it told us that we get 2.75% back, which is 0.0275. We're still depositing $2,500, so we have interest equals 2,500 times 0.0275, and we get 68.75. So let's find out the difference between Live Oak and Sally Mae. So Sally Mae is 71.25. Live Oak is 68.75. And we get $2.50. So Live Oak will earn $2.50 more per year over Sally Mae. If your goal was to earn $80 in interest on your $2,500 investment, what interest rate would you need to find? So we're looking at what interest rate we need to find. So we're looking for I. So that's what we don't know. We're looking for the interest rate we need to find. It told us that if we invest $2,500, so that's our investment, if your goal was to earn $80 in interest on your $2,500 investment, what interest rate would you need to find? So we're looking for what interest rate. So when we're looking for interest rate, we're actually looking for our R. So it told us that we want to get back $80 if we invest $2,500. So we want to get back $80 and we're investing 2,500. So getting back money, that's your capital I. So do you notice that we have I, we have a P, we have an R? We technically have a T, it's 1, but we don't care about it because it's for 1 year. When time is 1, we don't really care about it with interest because that's how much they charge already every year. So because we have I, we have R, we have P, we technically have a T, we can actually use I equals PRT. So our I is 80. How much money we're putting in is 2,500. Our rate, we don't know it. That's actually what we're trying to find. And our time is 1. We don't have to put in time if it's 1. So let's solve for R. In order to solve for R, we'll divide by 2,500. And when we do, we get 0.032 is our R, which is 3.2%. So if we want to get $80 back every year, we should look for a 3.2% interest rate. As you can see, CDs don't return a ton of interest. What they do offer is a guaranteed return. Suppose that you also had the opportunity it's supposed to say invest of $2,500 into a business venture that promised 12.5% return in 1 year, unless the company failed to turn a profit, in which case you would get nothing back. Calculate the amount of interest you would get and discuss whether you would prefer the risky investment over the CD. So it told us that Our CD, the CD that we're talking about is the part B that we earn $80. So that's guaranteed. A CD is guaranteed you are going to get this money back. So you're guaranteed $80 earned. All right, your business venture though. So your business venture said that you have a rate of 12.5% back if you invest $2,500 for 1 year. So again, time is one, we don't care about it. All right, so our I, that's what we're trying to find because we want to know how much money are we earning from the interest. Our P, that's 2,500 because that's how much we're putting in. Our rate was 12.5%, which we know would be 0.125, and for time is 1. We don't care about 1. So we multiply, and we get $312.50. So now we need to do a risk consideration. So CDs, they offer a low return but with certainty. You are guaranteed to earn $80 in interest. Your business venture offers a higher return but carries risk because you could get nothing back. If the business fails to turn a profit, you could potentially use your entire investment. Preference decision. If you prioritize safety and guaranteed returns, the CD might be preferable due to its lower risk and guaranteed $80 return. If you are willing to take on more of a risk for potentially higher return and you have confidence in the business venture's profitability, the venture could be more attractive due to the higher potential earnings, which is $312.50.